is this argument that Hamas uses civilian shields, human shields. It makes it sound like Hamas throws a bomb and then takes a baby and puts it up. Goes, don't hit me, I got a baby here, I got a baby here, like in the movies or something. No. They live in the city because that's the city they live in. And then Israel says, well, I had to bomb the city because you're there. And it makes it sound like they launch the rockets from next to a baby, right, and next to their family. They don't. They go launch the rockets from wherever the hell they can, and then they go back home. Their home is inside the city. So now you can say Israel had to hit the city because that's where the Hamas fighters are. And I might not agree with that completely, but I understand what you're saying. But what you can't say is Hamas is living in the city to use civilian shields. No, they live in the city because they live in the city. Like, there is no answer. Like, in order for Hamas to be able to answer that, they'd have to go in the middle of the desert and be like, Israel, we are coming for you. We are launching rockets now, not using civilian shields. So when you would like to drop the bomb from the sky, we are right here. Get realistic. That's crazy. And not only would they never do that because it doesn't make any sense, it's inviting death upon their heads, but it makes it seem like one of our listeners wrote an email saying, look, they don't, maybe this will help in comprehension, they don't have military compounds. Because if they did, Israel would instantly bomb it, right? So it's not like they have military compounds and they're choosing not to use them because they want to use the babies as shields, right? They just do the rockets and then they go back home. So it's one thing to say they shouldn't hit the cities. That's a different argument. What I'm saying is, just don't give me the bullshit about they're using civilian shields. Okay, that's all. All right, now let's go to what actually happens in those cities. Al Jazeera covered a family, this is video number 1, trying to run away from the bombs. And as you'll see here, one of the things they say is where we're going to run to. And it clarifies it a lot better when you actually see, why doesn't the American media do this? One, because maybe they can't get the guys in there or they're too scared to go in there. Partly because they're so biased that they'll be in trouble if they go there. But two, because they don't even bother. Once you go down to the city floor and you see the actual families, you go, oh yeah, where would they go? Let's watch. Here it is.
A glimpse of what it's like when an Israeli missile hits just meters from your home. This mobile phone footage was taken by an Al Jazeera cameraman. The woman screaming in the background is his wife. Every day and every night since this war began, this is what the men, women and children here are seeing and feeling over and over again. And Israel has warned this is just the beginning. We went to see Ra'id and Wafa al-Ramli, who live with their 3 children just next to the ministry complex of the deposed government. More than a dozen Israeli missiles hit the complex within a matter of minutes at 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. The family were asleep at their neighbor's house at the time.
Look what they did to our house. This is not about hitting Hamas or authority buildings like the Israelis say. This is a war on us, the people of Gaza.
The sound when the explosion happens. Oh, the sound.
I asked 17-year-old Maram how she felt when she heard the missile strikes. At first, she couldn't even answer.
All our lives we are suffering. Now my home is gone. We have nothing. That's it.
And just as we were talking, the neighbors rushed in to say a warning had been issued for everyone to evacuate the area. We can hear the sound of the Israeli drones just above us, and there's word that we may have to evacuate the area because the ministry buildings are just to our left here, not very far away at all. And that is why everyone is moving whatever they can and trying to get out of here. But the problem is, where can everyone go? To my mother-in-law's house, Wafat told me. Just next door. At least it's a few meters further away.
Every place in the Gaza Strip is targeted, and when I hear that this attack was close to my brothers-in-law and my parents-in-law here, I was really scared. But in my place, where it's 1 kilometer from here, it was shaking like an earthquake.
For the past year and a half, the people of Gaza have lived under an Israeli siege that starved them of the right to a decent and dignified life. And now Palestine, the terror every single one of them here is experiencing, is Israel's latest method of punishing them.
Now, look, I think that it's slightly one-sided because, talking about Israel punishing them. Now, maybe in other pieces that Al Jazeera did, they talk about the Israeli side and what they're going through, etc., right? I'm not sure. But I haven't seen it all, so, I'll reserve judgment on that. Having said that, what they did in that piece is so monumentally important for two reasons. In there, you see the 17-year-old girl. And when I first saw her, I'm like, oh, my God. Even me, this is the most obvious thing in the world, but you can't quite get the American mentality here. So if you don't live inside America, it's hard for you to understand. When I saw her, I was like, oh, she's like any 17-year-old girl in a mall here in America. And it humanizes them. And you go, oh, yeah, of course, of course. And then you see the guy speaking English. You're like, he's a middle-class guy. He's a guy trying to make a living. Doesn't have anything to do with Hamas. Now, to outsiders, this is, again, the most obvious thing in the world. But here in America, all of these guys, the whole Gaza Strip has been painted with this label of terrorist. So we don't see the 17-year-old girl. We don't see the middle-class guy trying to earn a living. We don't see the mom going, should I run this way or should I run that way? Should I go to my mother-in-law's house or should I go to my aunt's house? But it's only a couple of meters away. And so America's got its blinders on. They go, okay, all right, they're terrorists. They had it coming. It's over. I put up a poll on AOL. Who's right, who's wrong? 72% the Israelis are right. A tiny percentage saying the Palestinians. I don't even know if it got over 10%. And others just saying confused. But overall, they say, what do you mean who's right, who's wrong? Of course the Palestinians are wrong. They're the terrorists. And then you see this video, you go, oh, I get it. They're real families. Look, it helps. Video always helps. And so after watching this, I judge the American media totally guilty. Because they never show you that. They never show you real Palestinian families that live there. So you go, oh my God, I get it. They're just like us. And I know humans are thick-headed, and we should have gotten that a long time ago. And even I didn't quite, obviously I understand it, but it doesn't connect until you see it, and you go, okay, right, that bomb is going to land on that 17-year-old girl's head wearing the pink scarf, and she's going to die. So the American media, have they been, as our guest said earlier, have they been pro-Hamas? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Now, there